Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Richard Wilmore.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Make Your Day Richer. Sit, relax, relax. My guest has written a book that is one of the most honest and necessary accounts of family care, disability, and the challenging realities of the legal system. His name is Hugh Flynn, and his book is called Something Special B. Hugh came to the Superior Court in Los Angeles with no legal knowledge, but he had a crisis. His special needs brother, Aaron, needed urgent surgery, and Hugh had no authority to help him. He details the painful year-long battle that followed and the enormous financial and emotional costs of fighting for the person he says is the greatest person I've ever met. I'm excited to talk to him. Please welcome Hugh Flynn. Hit it, Big Infinite.
Make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door.
Hugh, hello. Thanks for being
Hello.
here.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I like the color around you. Exciting.
It's,
I almost wore a mid-century design shirt.
we should have
I
coordinated.
didn't realize I should have been more wardrobe coordinated. My apologies.
Next time I'll have my people call your people.
This is
And
the thing. This is the thing. Yeah.
yes, our assistants dropped the ball, and they're
A little
both
more prep.
yes. Well, you're here to talk about many things, but I want to start really with your book, something special B.
Something special B.
Tell everybody about this book.
I'd love to. So, Something Special B is largely about the process of when I filed with the Superior Court of Los Angeles to become conservator of my wonderful brother, Aaron. Aaron was a special needs man who had lived with me for about a year or so. And what happened was it came upon a medical issue. He required urgent surgery. And, here I was in the situation, no legal authority to make decisions or really to help him, in the way that I really felt somebody should.
Mm-hmm.
And so that kind of got my head going and says, I think I might need to start looking into like a guardianship or something, which tells you and your audience how much I knew about this when I went into it, which was nothing.
How old were you at that time?
Well, this was about 10 years ago. So I wasn't 50 yet. And he was just over 50 because he's a few years older than me. He's my older brother. But he backstorying for 10 seconds, he ended up living with me because he wanted to. And our parents became sick, and he had moved back home about 3 or 4 years before that happened. Their home was on the East Coast. I live on the West Coast. And then our dad died, and then mother had a big stroke. And so, boom, the whole world gets turned upside down, and we were in a situation we never thought we would face, which I think is true for probably a lot of families in this country. Oh, shit, life happens in a big way sometimes, and that was pretty big. So, I said, well, he can come to Los Angeles, so great, Well, it wasn't great. It was about a year. I had to cajole and so and so and such, because there were other siblings, there was other family members. Eventually, he came out, and boom, just fantastic. Of course, there's services, there's all sorts of things there, and it's Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like a Hollywood sort of guy, just really flashy. Didn't have a self-conscious bone in his body, and he loved all the resources and everything to do here, the beach. I mean, for God's sake, Maryland, no. So, and also, he'd been living in this house which was full of ghosts, both alive and dead. And so ghosts of people who were alive and dead. And I mean, it's just a terrible situation. So after, as I said, we came up on a medical issue, and I thought, well, I better look into this. And of course, the first attorney I called chastised the hell out of me. Well, we don't do guardianships in California. Yeah, what the hell you're talking about, He's an adult, isn't he? Well, yeah, he's a big time adult. Well, that's a conservatorship. Oh, okay. So, And this was going on just right about the time of the Britney Spears conservatorship. Don't you remember that? With her,
Oh, yes.
that was international headlines. Our story, which was much more interesting, however, wasn't international headlines. So I learned a lot about it, and I said, well, okay, I think that's what we're going to do. So I filed it, and our family just blew up, and you can't do that, and we can't do it. What are you talking about, So the memoir is that story, and it kind of starts shortly after that. That's the initiating event. And I was in for a journey. Aaron was in for a battle that I had never expected to ever have to fight in my life. Uh, and over the course of many months, went on for over a year. In the course of many months, I sort of started to figure out, well, what are we doing here? Other than paying these attorneys their outrageous fees, I said, what we're doing, this is a fight for the right to self-determination. That's what we're doing here. And I will take that fight to the mat. For my brother Aaron, who I adored whose life I loved more than my own, I'll fight that fight because that's just the right thing to do. And that's how our parents raised us. One of the enormous learning curves or plot points and transition points for me as the narrator of the book was when I learned, that my whole family wasn't on the same page with Aaron. And that had been one thing in my life. Of course, we all go through life and everything changes, right? We're like, well, we thought that was true, and now that's not true, and now this is true. If you have an open mind and you're willing to let new information in, you find out, oh, whoops, I was wrong about that, I always thought that he was kind of our Switzerland. It was a large family, a lot of dysfunction, a lot of the typical stuff. But the one place where we all were on the same page, if you will, was Aaron. I mean, we all believed the same thing about him. Our parents Aaron was raised just like the rest of all his siblings, no different. He didn't go to the same schools we did, but we didn't go to the same schools. It was all the same. And they made sure, they made a lot of mistakes, but they made sure that concept was very, very ingrained in us. And here, decades later, I found out, we were never on the same page.
Wow.
Because I was so appalled by the things that they said, of course, about me. And that's fine. You can say whatever you want. I'll still kick your ass. But Aaron is an extremely vulnerable person, and I was like, you're not talking, and in fact, let's get past the name calling. Let's just get back to the fact that we don't care where he wants to live. We don't care that he wants to live in Los Angeles. We think he should do this. And that's what we're gonna go to court to fight. Can you believe that?
No. No.
Yeah, and that's why, and you know what? And I was a year in. I don't believe this. One continuance, one supplemental, all these things, all these claims that were made against me. I mean, I might have been the white Idi Amin. I mean, I was the most horrible person you have on paper you have ever met. I was a bad influence. I mean, it was just incredible bullshit. But I came to learn that the legal system really accommodates bullshit. They accommodate, they facilitate it.
Yeah.
Sorry, you had a question.
Orchestrating it. No, that's okay. What after all of that, and you're living that, and you've written so much before this, what made you want to write this story, and how long has it been out? Like, what was that like for you to kind of relive everything?
Thank you. It was very hard.
I bet.
Because there's a tremendous amount of pain. I mean, there was tremendous above the line costs, which was the lawyers and the consultants and all the experts we had to engage. And then there were the below the line expenses, which was losing relationships with my family, and all the while trying to make sure that I wasn't influencing his perception of them, because Aaron loved all his family and I didn't. But and once they started attacking me, about this, that, and whatever. I just said, well, it was very hard to carry all that, to keep that together and to keep myself together. I was running a magazine at the time that was having some. I mean, we had a lot of things going on, and there was a lot in the book. I made a point to keep that in the book because I wanted readers to sort of get a sense for. You might not think you're a juggler in real life. You see them on TV, but when you have to, sometimes you learn on the fly. And pardon the pun, but you got to keep that stuff going if you care. And I didn't care about anything more than I cared about my brother. So writing the book, to your question, was extremely hard. I had to put it away for months at a time. But I had a tremendous archive because of course it ended up in court and everything gets on paper in court. So I had this massive archive. I still have it. Boxes and boxes. I thought, well, you know what? I'd also been keeping a journal along the way just for myself to keep myself sane and also to kind of remember who said what and who did this. So, sort of after the conservatorship sort of happened and then we were in this, that's a whole nother drama. Then I thought, well, let me go back and look at this. And I just said, this is, first of all, I had, as I said, the archive, and then it was a tremendous story. It had all the elements of a great story. Now I was living it, I didn't feel that. I just felt like, I'm ready to be shooting people from a tower in a clown suit.
Yeah.
I mean, this is where I felt like I was going, because you have to be in that situation, And it was so outrageous, and I was so stunned, and and that was another part that made it, I think, a good story was as a narrator of the story. There's a tremendous growth. There's a growth arc in this character that I thought I could capture and put down on paper, and also, it's a process that isn't written about, and it's not written about in a way that I think is dramatically interesting, which I think this is just. It's incredibly interesting. So it's not a thesis on a legal process. It's about the implosion of a family, and how do you deal with this? Unfortunately or fortunately, it got played out in the legal realm because there was stuff that happened in the courtroom that you would not believe, but it's in the book.
So go get it.
It's
So
in
who
the
would you
damn
say?
book.
Who would you say that the book is for? Like, who should be reading the book?
I think, well, I have been really fortunate. The reviews on it just came out in May, have just been incredible, and I've been so gratified, and the observations have come from people of very sort of disparate interests. I think absolutely anybody who knows or is related to anybody who has a disability or a special need, I think that's a no-brainer. It's also, I've been told, and I also believe, it really at its core, it's a love story. It's a love story between me and my brother and myself. It's an exploration of what unconditional love means, really, and what that might cost you. And at the time, I had an intimate relationship with my partner who stepped up, which is very rare. So I'm a gay man, and he was a gay man, and I know there's a lot of yip yap now about DEI, but let me tell you, we just redefined what DEI meant, because he was an Hispanic, I'm white, Aaron has Down syndrome. We go into the bowling alley. You better believe everybody stops throwing the balls down to look at who's just walked in the damn door, And but it's like second nature. You just breathe that. You don't even think about it. Now I think about it because I'm constantly seeing all this yap about DEI and such. So it's an incredible love story, and the way that he stepped up, because he didn't have to. We weren't married. We even couldn't get married yet at that time in California. These are stories that don't appear, that they just don't. And the real hero of the story is my brother Aaron, because in my view, and I think in the view of people who have read the book, how he sustained the demands of this process for as long as he did, with my support, but how he sustained it and how he negotiated it with the dignity that he did is a lesson that everybody should learn. And the last thing I will say about this, I really wanted, personally, I wanted people who never met him to be able to shake his hand literally, because he is just the greatest person I've ever met. I just happen to be related to him.
Yeah. How does it feel to finish it and to be like, all right, this is it, final draft. I'm not going to edit a single thing. It's over. It's done. How did that feel?
That never happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you can always issue another edition.
Revision. Yes.
I'm never satisfied. I'm satisfied. It's levels of satisfaction. You have to. Okay, I'm willing to accept this or whatever. But I guess it was kind of scary because it's a sizable book. I mean, it's a sizable. You get into. I mean, I've had people tell me they read it in a weekend. I thought I couldn't read this book in a weekend. But I wanted it to be engrossing. I don't think I had to make it engrossing. The story is engrossing. I mean, the plot points, the twists and the turns, it's incredible. Again, I had the archive to go back to. Many of the conversations are absolutely verbatim, because some of the conversations that are conversations in the book might be email exchanges in my archive. They're verbatim. And so when I talk about the outrage of it, people can be assured that when I say, a lot of people say it's a true story. And of course, in this age of AI, which is toxic as shit, this is a true story. And I think there's something in the soul of it that you cannot create in a software program or a bot. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always curious why authors land on a title for a book, if there were any other titles in the running. So where did Something Special Be come from?
Hundreds of titles.
Yeah.
Hundreds. Don't even doubt that for a second. Yeah. In fact, I was going into production, if you will, design and layout and all that. I was in that process when the title was still untitled. I'd had a title I'd been working with. I had about 4, which I had sort of hung on to it one or more times. And I had a couple people reading parts of it. And in the comments, someone remarked about this line in the book. And that is the line. And I said, oh, of course. This is it. And I love titles. I mean, titles are super, super important. And I love thinking about it, and all the things I've written, and particularly all the dramatic literature I've done. I mean, all the radio plays and the stage plays and all that sort of stuff. The title is fun. It should be fun for the creator, But this was a little bit more of a struggle. But when I got to it, it was like bing, 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 all the bells. And when I was
I can't believe I didn't think of that. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. This is it. And and so the title comes right out of Aaron's mouth. Those are words right out of his mouth. Well, then there we are. We're putting it on the front of the book.
Yeah. What do you love most about your life right now?
Well, that I'm doing only what I want, which is not my typical. It's not my. If I was writing my biography, it would be, it would be a war and peace of all the things that I've done in my life that I did not want to do, or that I did for money, or that all these sorts of things that people decide. I think that is huge. And it really, I got to tell you, with all the Sturm und Drang going on in the country and in our society, it's great to be in a space, where I can say, well, I can do this and do that. I'm very close to finishing another book, and I'm expecting that to come out in the early part of this next year, earlier spring, February, something like that. depending on some of the production things and all that kind of stuff. So I'm excited about that, and I'm pushing that forward. And I'm still shopping projects. I do live in entertainment world here, although that world is shrinking fast.
Well,
And so I have a couple of projects that are making the rounds, so to speak.
what is the best way that people can connect with you out there in the world?
They can go get the book, not to be shameless about it, or they can email me if they'd like. It's hughflynnauthor@gmail.com. I'm really happy to answer questions about the book in particular. And I have had some people, not because they read the book, but some people just ask about how did this work and how did that work? Because, I made a point I tried to make a point in the narrative of saying, I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and so it's all in the book. It's like, well, I learned this, and then I learned that, and then this is, I didn't know that, and of course, it's not just that. It's how I felt about it and how it impacted our lives in the moment and the situations we were in at the time, so it's a bit of a roller coaster ride. I've been told it's a great read. I of course, I'm very close to the story, so I'm not the best person to ask about that. But, anyway,
We'll get all your fans. Next time you come back, we'll just get all of your readers on here as well, and they can
get them on here.
Tell
Get
us
them
how
on.
good it is. Before we head out today, will you play a game with me?
Okay.
Great. It's called Ultimate Food Fight. And
All right.
with the holidays coming up, because it's
They're
November,
coming up.
Here we go. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to give you some questions about food. And you have to
Great.
tell me if it's true or false.
Love food.
Okay. If you get 3 out of 5 correct, everybody in our non-existent studio audience gets a copy of Something Special B. So no pressure here, but yeah, they're all clapping and they're yelling. All right. True or false? Green bean casserole was invented by Campbell's Soup.
True.
That is true. 1 down. This is multiple choice. Which pie is most associated with Thanksgiving? Maybe it's not multiple choice because it seems easy.
Oh, I thought you were getting me. I
was, but then it felt like it was too easy.
You're not
so
gonna
I
do
feel
that.
like you can get this.
Thanksgiving? Oh, I'd say pumpkin.
You are correct, sir. Last one. Fill in the blank. The marshmallow-topped dish made with orange veggies is called...
Sweet potatoes. I mean, that's the way Mother used to make them.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. You got it.
That's it.
Oh, that's it.
I mean, they really weren't sweet potatoes. They were yams, but it was always called sweet potatoes.
That's true.
Right.
Sweet potato casserole. Yes, that's it. Everybody in the audience gets a copy of Something Special B. Thanks to Hugh. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Hey, my pleasure. Hey, just want to mention real quickly, Down Syndrome Awareness Day is December 3rd. That's a great time to get the book. And there'll be a promotion that day, too, to get it for almost nothing.
Good. But you should get it when it's something so we can help you. All right. Thank you very much, sir. Come back when your next book comes out.
Hey, thank you. I will.
All right, good. We're gonna we'll take a break and be right back after this. Don't go away. I believe in the power of learning, and so does Smart Deal Academy. This incredible nonprofit serving the greater Charlotte area is changing lives through personalized tutoring, homeschool teaching, and enrichment classes for students of all ages. From pre-K phonics to private music and Spanish lessons, Smart Deal creates a safe, joyful space where kids grow in confidence and curiosity. This work only happens because of generous donations from those who believe every student deserves a chance to thrive. Every dollar fuels one-on-one support, creative programming, and the kind of encouragement that sticks with a child for life. Be a part of that impact by visiting smartdeal.com and make a tax-deductible donation today. Let's build a brighter future together.
Welcome back, everyone. Hey, on tomorrow's show, Melanie Whitaker is back on the show. She was here last season. She has a brand new book called Transforming Pain into Purpose, and we're going to talk all about that. So go make your day richer. Go make somebody else's day richer. You've made mine by watching this show, and I love you for it. And we'll see you tomorrow, everyone. Bye-bye.